guys, it is Harmony, and I am finally back, gracing your screens. I have been gone for a very long time, since the end of March. If you don't follow the blog, then you do not know my father was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So, life has been kind of difficult at Casa de Harmony over the month of April, but he is a lot better now. Everything went fantastically, and we are so grateful for this, and I'm so grateful for the support that you guys have been showing me on the tumbles and on the Twitter and all of that. So I am finally back, and all of us are back because I know we've been kind of slacking in April on our duties, but we are better than ever, and we have some new people coming up soon. If you guys know, because of Gabrielle's video on Friday, she is no longer part of the Totally Booksess team, but you will be seeing her every once in a while because she's going to be our alternate when one of us can't post up a video. So let's go ahead and do this. This week we are doing book recommendations, different genres for different days. So I'm going to give you guys a little second to guess which one I'm doing. 1, 2, 3. High fantasy. One of you guys actually tweeted me that you wanted some high fantasy recommendations right after I decided that this would be the topic for this week. So that just reinforced my yes, I will be doing this. We will all be doing different ones throughout the week, but I felt like it was appropriate for me to do high fantasy because it's basically all I talk about, especially here on this channel. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to go through this really quick because I have a lot of books to show you. First, let's get the obvious one aside. You guys are going to be like, seriously, I think we already know that we're supposed to read this, but I want to show you all three. So, Graceling, Fire, and Bitterblue. This is the I always get confused, Seven Kingdoms trilogy. This is the Seven Kingdoms trilogy. I always get confused with Seven Realms trilogy, because that's Demon King and all that, which will come later. Getting distracted. Anyway, this is Graceling, which is about a girl called Katza who has the grace to be an excellent fighter and a grace to basically kill. And she has to go on this journey with this boy called Poe to find his cousin, Bitterblue, who is currently in a lot of trouble. And it's kind of Katza's journey into finding herself and her humanity and who she is besides her uncle's killing machine. So, Graceling, Fire is about a girl who is a monster of immense beauty. She is this very seductive monster, but she doesn't want it because it just causes problems in her life. So she travels to the heart of this kingdom and falls in love with this city and this family and this boy, and it is just fantastic. Graceling is for people who like a more fast-paced plot. If you're not in slow plots, Fire is a lot more introspection, a lot more Fire coming into herself and as a person. And then Graceling is a lot more, it's a journey story, it's a fast-paced story. And then we have the in-between, Bitterblue, the third book. Now, you don't need to have read Graceling to read Fire, but you will be a lot more happy if you read Graceling and Fire before you read Bitterblue, because characters from both books appear in Bitterblue. Now, I read Bitterblue before I read Fire, so I didn't get the full experience, but then I read Fire and I was like, oh my god! So Bitterblue is about the girl that they went to go save in Graceling. She is now old. I can't say anything without spoiling Graceling, but a lot of characters from the first two books appear in this one, and it is about Bitterblue kind of coming into herself and figuring out what's best for not only herself, but for her kingdom. So that is what that is about. Let's move on. I am really perky. I don't know why. I mean, I just finished taking an AP exam, so whatever. Next one is a book that hasn't come out yet, but I just kind of want to get it out of the way. Shadow and Bone by Larry Berdago. You've probably seen me raving about this before on the Twitter and whatever, but I just want everyone to know about it because it is my favorite book of 2012 so far. It is about a girl named Alina who discovers that she's a Grisha. Grisha are these magical people who each have different abilities, and they are kind of the elite in this world that she lives in. So she kind of has to come into this society where everyone knows each other, and it's this really rigid class system, and it is just absolutely phenomenal, and I just cannot sing enough praise about it. So praise, lots and lots of praise. I love this book so much. Next, we have something for the more slow readers, the more traditional high fantasy readers. We have Aeon by Alison Goodman. This is about a girl who dresses up like a boy because she wants to become the next Dragon Eye. It is inspired by Chinese history, so there are 12 dragons, each for each Chinese zodiac sign. So you can only be a Dragon Eye by being a boy and being able to speak to the respective dragon that you're going for. She is a girl who can speak to dragons, so she has to cover herself up, and it is just fantastic. It is not for people who aren't used to reading like slow books. It's a lot of world building, a lot of like really complicated, intricate plots. It's not something for really fast readers, and there's no romance in it, so it's something that is for slower readers. But Iona, the sequel, is a lot more fast-paced, there's some romance in it, it's a lot more, fast-going, so I do recommend reading Aeon to get to Iona. I don't know, I liked both of them equally. So, next we have Incarnate by Jodi Meadows. This actually came out recently in February. This is about a girl named Anna who lives in the society where everyone gets reincarnated over and over again. But she came out as a new soul, and because of this, she had to take over someone else's place in society, so a person who had been reincarnated over and over again had to die for her to take over their body, so people do not like her. She is an outcast, until she meets a boy named Sam, who takes her to the City of Heart, so she has to discover her place in the world, and I don't know what she was meant to do and where she belonged, and it was just fantastic. One of my favorite books of this year. So, recommendations. Next we have an older book. This is called Brightly Woven by Alexandra Bracken. This is a fantastic book. I love this book so much. It's about this girl named Sybil who can she has this magical ability that you don't really know what it is while you're reading the book, but you kind of find out as you get into it. She is taken from her village by this wizard called North, who claims that he needs her help, and it is just this fantastic journey story of the two of them both kind of trying to find their way to the capital city and trying to find their way into each other. Both of them have these glaring flaws, and I just love them so much. North is one of my favorite heroes ever. So, there's another one. Lots more. Okay. Blood Red Road by Mira Young. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Legitimately, freak out. I love this book so much. It's about a girl named Saba whose brother Lou gets stolen from her. He's her twin, the sun to her moon, and all of that, as the symbolism likes to go in this book. So she goes on this journey with her younger sister to go find him, and she ends up in all of these problems. She gets kidnapped. She is taken to this crazy city. She ends up with this rebel group, and it is just absolutely fantastic. It's a little bit hard to get into at the beginning, mostly because it's written phonetically, which I know bothered a lot of my friends who read it. It's written phonetically, so it's written how Saba talks, and Saba talks with this very, I don't know how to really pronounce it, it's very, you're instead of Y-O-U, Y-E-R, so that kind of hurts your head a little bit in the beginning, but you get into it a lot, and it really adds to the experience of being in Saba's head. And then, once you get to the capital city, once you get to the part where she's kidnapped and all, that's when it really picks up, because I know the beginning can be a little bit slow, but just go with it. Just go with it, because it's fantastic, and it's totally worth it once you hit that point. Thief's Covenant by Ari Marmel. This is a lesser-known book. It is by Pyre, and that is a new division of fantasy YA over at Prometheus Books. And this is about a girl called Withershins, who is a thief in this city where, it's like the city that is dominated by these different houses that have these different gods, and she has this god, and she is the sole believer of this god because the rest of the division was killed, so she has this god kind of on her back, metaphorically and literally, and he helps her kind of be the super badass thief that she is, and it's just so ridiculously good. So good. Next, we have one of my favorite series of all time ever, The Demon King by I don't know why I just went crazy. Cinda Williams Chima. I love these books with the passion of 8,000 Suns. I started out Demon King being really hesitant. Demon King is about a boy named Han and a girl named Ryza, and it's two different stories, two different storylines, but they kind of intertwine at different points. But it's not like a POV thing, like it's not like their point of view, the same story. Han and Ryza don't officially meet until the third book, and that's the point where their stories are the same, but the third book is a while from the first book, so it's kind of two stories in one, which is really, really cool. The moment where you really get into it, though, is around the beginning of Demon King, especially Ryza. For me, Ryza just clicked in my head immediately. I loved her so much. And then Han kind of took me a while to get into him, because his storyline is a lot more like walking, journey, magic, introspection. It's kind of like adventure side, and then there's Ryza, who is the princess of this land, and she's kind of being forced into these marriages, and she's trying to, like, live her life and find herself, and Han is trying to not die, is basically his primary thing going on with him, at least in the first book. It goes Demon King, Exiled Queen, Glaber Throne, and then the last book comes out in October, and it is called The Crimson Crown, and I am so excited. Cinda Williams Chima will break your heart, guys. Do not get attached to anyone. I am just saying. I'm just warning you now, just so you're safe. And the last book that I will be showing you is The False Princess by Alice O'Neill. This is a book about a girl who is raised as a princess until her, pretty sure, 16th birthday. Then she finds out that she was not the princess. She was just a look-alike put there to protect the princess from a curse that was supposed to befall her on her 16th birthday. So she gets cast out of the castle and sent back to her normal peasant village life that she had no idea was hers in the first place. And it is just fantastic watching her kind of save the kingdom that rejected her and try to find herself when all along her identity has been a lie. So it's fantastic, and all these books, I recommend them 1000%. I really don't think I've read a high fantasy book that I haven't liked so far, so I will keep you guys updated on that. And that is everything for me. I will see you, Loretta, tomorrow, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!